Hi there, welcome to Wear Waji's channel. In this video, I'll be taking you through the cutting or drafting process of a shoulder that's bustier. So as not to make this video too long, the next one will show you the sewing process of this shoulder that's bustier. I'll start off by marking a baseline on my plain pattern paper, and there I will mark my armhole measurement, which is usually your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. okay, I'm going to mark this down, and then I would go on to mark my bust point measurement from the baseline. I would also mark this in different places so that when I'm connecting my lines, of course, it is really straight. After marking my bust point, I'll go on to mark my under bust point and my half length or my waistline respectively. Okay, I'll make use of my straight rule to connect these lines and then label them to avoid confusion. The next thing will be to mark our shoulder divided by 2 measurements on that baseline. I'll repeat this measurement on the chest line so that I can get an accurate or a straight line. And then to slant my shoulder, I'll come down by 1 inch and slant it down to 3 inches. Okay, I'm coming down by 1 inch after marking my armhole measurements because I want a fitted armhole. Okay, so it is best to slant after you mark, but if you want it free, please feel free to slant your shoulders before taking your armhole measurement. I'll go on to mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2 or my bust span measurement divided by 2 all the way from the bust point down to the half length. Okay, and then I'll connect these lines like so. The next thing I'll do is to come in by 1 inch on the smaller part of my pattern paper and 2 inches on the bigger part of my pattern paper and connect the lines straight down to the half length. I'll then come down by 1 inch from the bust point and mark. Okay, then using a curve rule, I will be connecting these under bust points to that 1 inch marked down the bust point. I hope you understand what I just said. Please watch my video so you get it right. To connect this line to the shoulder, go on to divide your shoulder slant by 2 like I just did. Fold your tape measure into 2 and mark the midpoint, and then connect it all the way down, not directly to the bust point but 1 inch above that bust point. Okay, use your straight rule to connect this point up to the shoulder slant, then use a curved side to just connect the lines like so. And after that, you will come in by half an inch. Yes, you come in by half an inch on the smaller part of your pattern paper on the shoulder line, and then 1 inch on that bigger part, and connect it back to that 1 inch marked upwards on your bust point. After doing this, you then measure the dart intake and include it from that shoulder measurement you marked initially. So that is 1.5. I'm going to just elongate my lines to meet that line. Now that is the new armhole line. I hope you understand this. So I'm going to just X this so that I know that I'm not making use of that line. So this new line is where I'll take make my armhole curve by coming in on the midpoint by half inch and connecting it straight to my bust circumference divided by 4. Okay, I'll use my curve rule to connect this line. Okay, so after doing this, I'm going to take my measurements by dividing my bust circumference by 4 rather, marking that point and adding the dart intake I have on that line. I went on to add 2 inches allowance. I'll repeat that measurement on the bust point, and then for my under bust point, I marked the circumference divided by 4, included my dart intake and added 2 inches allowance. Just depends on you the amount of allowance you want to make use of. Okay, so for my waistline, I repeated the same process before going on to connect this line. After this, go on to include the neckline of your choice. I have a tutorial on how to draft different trendy necklines with the accurate measurements to use. The link is in my description box. I'm very certain you'll find it helpful. The next thing we'll be doing is to get our bust dart, which is simply the difference between your back half length and your front half length. Mine is 2 inches. I'm just going to mark that on the bust point going down and connect this line straight to the bust point line. So I'm just marking the spaces that I'll be taking out before going on to cut. Now to cut, I'll first open this line up, this is that line a little, not totally, and then I'll come out a little and cut the side seam. Just watch my video to understand. I'm going on to open that not totally, also just close to the tip, and then I use my masking tape to hold this together. I just decided to hold all the pattern paper together for better illustration. So after covering that bust that, I connected the lines again so that they are straight. Then the next thing to do is to cut out our pattern. I included 1/2 inch on my shoulder as joining allowance. Okay, so please do not forget to do so too. If you find this video helpful at this point, please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe and share. Okay, all right, so this is all for the front pattern. Moving on to the back pattern, we will start with our baseline as usual because this is where all measurements will start from. I'll go on to mark 1.5 inches from that baseline all the way down as my zipper allowance. Then I'll go on to mark almost the same thing. I'll start with my armhole measurement, my bust point measurement, and straight up to my half length. Okay, I am not going to be marking my under bust because it's not useful at the back pattern. Okay, so I'm just marking these lines and connecting it for easy illustration. So the next thing I'll do is to mark my shoulder divided by 2 measurements, and I'll connect this line down to my chest line. And then the next thing we'll be doing is to slant my shoulder. Of course, please, if you want to know how to get your measurements, like your armhole measurement, your bust that, there are different formulas for it, and the link to this tutorial is in my description box as well. So I went on to mark my bust circumference divided by 4 before making my back curve. Please note that there's no 1/2 inch going in at this back pattern. Okay, then go on to mark your bust span divided by 2 from the chest line all the way down to the half length, and then I'll go in with my normal dart 1/2 inch on both sides of that line and come down from your chest line by 1 inch. Connect the line like so. The next thing, take your round measurement divided by 4 and include your 2 inches allowance again. All right, so this is me on the waistline, including the dart allowance before including my 2 inches allowance. I'm going on to connect these lines like so. For my neckline, ensure you use the same width as the one you used in the front pattern. I use 4 in front as my wideness. I'm using 4 at the back as well. Okay, so now from your half length, the down part, come in by 1/2 inch and then mark this line to about 7 inches above. Okay, just to make sure your zipper is not bulging at the back. After doing this, do not forget to cut out that pattern and include 1/2 inch on your shoulder line for allowance. After doing this, this is what we have. It is so easy. Please, if you find this video helpful in any way, do not forget to like and subscribe. I'll be showing you how to sew this in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. All you need to do here is to just cut this on your fabric. I'm labeling mine so I don't get confused, and add 1/2 inch to the sides. Okay, 1/2 inch like you see me touching to this side, but not on the center front. See you in the next video. Bye.